talk about Ara on Mami One-sans later. That comes later. That comes after midnight when I get drunk. All right. We got let's see. We got some other videos here. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I want to see this. I want to. So so let's go ahead and start this off with just making sure that this video gets completely demonetized as I upload this clip. Over the last week or this week, there was a mass shooting that claimed the lives of 8 people in Atlanta, Georgia. The victims were largely Asian women, along with I think 2 Caucasians. I'm not entirely sure, and all of them working at massage parlors, borderline just like essentially like prostitution spots. Now, the media is trying to portray this as a anti-Asian hate crime. Given the evidence of this person's background and various other things, I think the far more likely conclusion is that he did this as a break from the mental problems that were caused by sex addiction and pornography addiction. The assailant had recently undergone rehab for sex addiction and was in a halfway house to, like, you know, for his sex addiction, stuff like that. So it's pretty clear that that was most likely the motive that spurred on this shooting. Now, I think it goes without saying that killing these women was horrendous and evil, especially given the fact that most likely, given the trends within these sorts of establishments, there is a very high probability that these women were most likely trafficked for prostitution. So sex trafficking victims getting murdered like brutally is pretty fucking horrendous and pretty fucking terrible. But the media is trying to spin it in a way to draw attention to the recent attacks of Asian people by a smattering of different races. Interested to see how a good old friend of ours, Cyberdemon, has a take on this, because they had a interesting take on where is it? Here we go. I think this is it. So let's go.
There's a video of
Cyberdemon also needs to move like away from the fucking camera, but you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, chat? Ooh, at least they're not bullying Cosmo anymore.
of the sheriff of I think it's like whoever, like the local sheriff. I don't know if they're the Atlanta sheriff or what, but this motherfucker, this is someone. This guy, so this guy decided to murder 8 people, and wound, I think, 30 others yesterday. I didn't cover the story because
Holy shit, 30 others? Holy fuck, dude.
I didn't want to ruin my fucking mood. And so the police, obviously what the police do when anyone commits a crime, the police go up there and say, well, you don't know. Who knows?
Well, yeah, the police's job isn't to ascertain the motive of the crime to tell people in the media. They would try to ascertain the motive of the crime for the prosecution to you know, for their case, but generally they don't work to like give reasons to the press. But you know, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, sure. We arrested that guy because we think he committed the crime, but who knows? We don't know.
Well, no, he has stated that he is in fact the person who committed the shooting. He's confessed to it.
And if we do know, he were having a bad day. You know, he was horny. You know, I mean, come on. We've all been so horny. We go and fucking kill 8 people. Come on. So let's watch.
Yes, he. With investigators, they interviewed him this morning, and they got that impression that yes, he understood the gravity of it, and he was pretty much fed up and kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
Remorseful?
I'm not going to go to. I don't know if he was remorseful or not.
He's a pretty young guy.
So what it sounds like is that he understood what he did was wrong, therefore clearing the way to make sure that no, this wasn't something that was in a fit of insanity where he didn't know the difference between right or wrong and just did this. He was aware of what he did and it was driven by this. This doesn't seem like a condoning of his reasoning. At least that's what I got. I don't know if anyone else kind of got that from this part, but oh, lower the volume, please. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm awful at audio mixing. I'm sorry. We went from like a really soft-spoken person to a really like loud-spoken person. This is 1,158. This is a show this person's done. Yeah, they do like 6 uploads a day, dude. Like, holy shit.
Yesterday was a really bad day. I mean, like, when I have a really bad day, right? Like, what I don't do, right? What I don't do, is fucking murder 8 people. But here's another clip.
Interview currently in.
You know, Cyberdemon's videos are making me feel a little bit less self-conscious about my my post-nasal drip, where I will have to like kind of sniff and kind of clear my nose up because holy shit, that's a lot of phlegm in their nose. I feel bad because like allergy season is a fucking bitch, dude.
Our facility at the Cherokee County Adult Detention Center, we were able to interview him with the Atlanta Police Department and FBI. He made indicators that he has some issues, potentially sexual addiction, and may have frequented some of these places in the past. But as the chief indicated, it's still early on. We still have a lot of things to process, and so he should be at an arraignment tomorrow at some time early.
Guy's got sexual addiction, folks. Sexual fucking addiction. Like, I don't mean to make a joke out of this, but like...
Well, yeah, like, again, the police's job is to kind of determine a motive, because that's part of the basis of our criminal justice system is the ascertainment of a motive. It's, you know, the trifecta: means, motive, and opportunity. Like, these are the 3 things that the police look for in a criminal investigation. So, what?
Like, Jesus Christ, like, it has been a long and difficult fucking pandemic. You're telling me that the whole fucking country isn't fucking missing some good stuff, right? Like, this motherfucker is such a selfish little bird brain fuck, right? And then the cops are gonna go up there and say, no, it wasn't racist. No, man, it was just sexual addiction. He was addicted, man.
Well, again, given his commitment to a rehab facility for sexual addiction, as well as the fact that he was at the moment living at a halfway house for sexual addiction, and various other statements that he's made to police about this, yes, the motive does seem to be stemming from frustrations with his sexual addiction and not any sort of like racist motive. Which, again, is very important to understanding and convicting the person later, especially given the fact that the victims were predominantly Asian. Like, you kind of want to make sure it wasn't a hate crime.
He had a really bad day, and he just wanted to. He was addicted, man. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And because it was motivated by sexual desires means it can't be motivated by racism as well? That's a binary, I guess?
No, it just means that it wasn't likely motivated by racism. The evidence pretty clearly determines that most likely it was due to his sexual addiction. This isn't a justification or a condonement of that. It's just a, like, establishing why things be the way that they are.
Like, what is the fucking... Like, these are the cops saying this shit. This isn't, like, fucking some random fucking dude bro, like, fucking posting on Trump2024.com, right? This is, like, some...
Wait, is that an actual website? Trump2024.com? I kind of want to take a look. Let's see, can I post on Trump2024.com? Let's see, is that a website? It doesn't work. Okay, that's not an actual website. What a shame. What a shame.
These are the fucking cops. These are the law enforcement motherfucking officials. And these guys are like, well, I mean, he's had a really bad day, and, you know, he's just really horny, and, you know, I had nothing to do with racism or anything. It wasn't, you know, he was just really horny, and was having a bad day, and so I decided to...
Well, it also seems as if that this tweet right here also says he cautions that the investigation is at an early stage. I know, reading is hard, Cyberdemon, but it definitely helps you look like less of a jackass, which I personally value. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys watching right now. I personally find not looking like a jackass to be a pretty gosh dang good thing. I don't know. It's just it's a character quirk of mine. I like to not look like a jackass. I don't know.
Kill people. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I'm sorry, I can't even play the rest of this. It's just so... It's just...
Well, it'd probably damage your credibility and what you just ranted about, but okay.
It's disgusting. It's just so fucking disgusting. These people are freaks. They're like, again, all cops are bastards, right? When a cop fucking arrests someone for weed, smoking a blunt, do they go on national television and go like, well, you know, he was having a really stressed day at work, and he just really wanted to light up a drug and then smoke that drug, and then he's just having a bad day at work, and, you know, he's not really that much of a...
Well, media outlets probably aren't clamoring for a press conference about why somebody got arrested for small possession of drugs.
Criminal. We don't know if he's a criminal. He's just having a bad day. No, motherfucker. They call that guy was like drugs with intent to sell. Like, imagine, like, oh, I've got one like blunt in my pocket. Intent to sell. Like, this, you have to understand the fucking double-sided nature of the way that they treat different people in law enforcement. This guy is a white dude. He was horny, man. He was just having a bad day. Anyone else?
I'm pretty sure that they're going to convict him for... I mean, Georgia, it's Georgia. Like, he's most likely going to get the death penalty. Although, maybe life in prison, because he's probably going to, like, he's going to plead guilty or something like that. I would imagine, anyway. So they don't want to deal with that shit.
A criminal, they're a thug, they're a rioter and a looter, right? It's fucking disgusting. Fuck all the cops. All cops are bastards. All my homies hate cops. If you like cops, get the fuck out of my live stream. And I don't want to see you leaving any
Cyberdemon live streams?
because you're a fucking freak of nature. And you should go call your mom with that fucking bullshit you've got, because she's the only one who'll fucking listen.
My mom loves me. I should call my mom after this. Thanks, Cyberdemon. I'm gonna call my mom after this stream. I haven't talked to her in a couple of days. Chat, call your mother. She wants to hear from you.
At least maybe. I don't know what your relationship with your mom is, but either way, there's a dog right behind me. I'm gonna pet that dog. Oh my god, I love him.
That's sweet. Cyberdemon's got a dog. That's sweet. I feel, listen, animals are great. Dogs are great. We don't deserve dogs, chat. Shit, actually, there was another video that I can cover on the subject. Let me find it real quick. Because I kind of wonder if this guy does the exact same spiel as Cyberdemon. 1 second. We're going to cover another brilliant take from quote-unquote Good Politic Guy, which I'm really shocked that this guy has like this guy has like the weirdest fucking dichotomy between like Twitter followers
so
and YouTube
unfortunately,
subscribers. Although it's kind of deserved because his videos are kind of dog shit, but I don't fucking care. He probably could use the ad revenue. I'll give him a view. I'll give him a pity view. I'm not gonna light up the J downloader to cover this guy because he's also covering pretty much the same thing. I'm really surprised though. This guy has like 4K YouTube subscribers. This guy has like 200 or 20K Twitter followers, I think. He also has me on a block list, I think, so yeah, he has 27K followers, but he only has like 4K subscribers on YouTube. It's really weird. I mean, not really, because like I said, his videos are bad, but it's really shocking that like he just can't get a break on this one. Also, Mediterranean Peasant said he should face the death penalty like all murderers, but 100% believe pornography has some MK Ultra mind control stuff. After all, it has a history of being used as a psychological weapon. Yeah, no. I can 100% say that like the guy who did the Atlanta stuff is subhuman, but pornography is also like definitively insidious. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, I think he's on the same beat. It's 6 minutes long. We're just gonna get through it, see if he does the same failings as Cyberdemon does. It would be really cool to put these two in like the same brainlet category.
all right, so unfortunately, there was a series of shootings that happened around the Atlanta, Georgia area yesterday. Happens to be my home city, but it very clearly, to me at least, seemed...
You know, unironically, that is kind of like a surreal thing, even if you don't live there anymore. I had a mass shooting happened like a block away from where I used to live, and it's really fucking spooky and surreal. So I'll give him that. Like, that is kind of weird. I don't. Although Atlanta, Georgia is like a big city, so
seems like these were racially motivated shootings.
Wait, let's go back.
Home city, but it very clearly, to me at least, seems like these were racially motivated shootings.
Well, except the evidence seems to suggest that it wasn't. Like, all evidence around the subject seems to be motivated because these were places where sex work was being done. But I guess that's why he qualified that with a, to me, because it doesn't actually have to be based on any sort of like fact. It just has to be based on his opinion, which I guess works, but it just seems like really lazy, you know? Really lazy and pseudo-intellectual. But hey, that's what the stream is for, right?
I'll give you some of the details here as to what happened, and then we're going to get into a couple of the clips from the Atlanta Police Department, just absurdly, basically running defense for the killer and making excuses.
While investigating him, most likely with the intent to pass it on to prosecutors to put him away. Okay, I mean, you know, I guess we have different meanings for the word defense. Is that also just like in your opinion sort of thing? We're gonna have to put like a big asterisk in your opinion because
for him, as you would expect from police departments in the United States. But here are some of the details of what actually happened in Atlanta. A gunman shot dead 8 people at 3 massage parlors Tuesday evening. 6 of the victims were of Asian descent, all but 1 of them were women. A 21-year-old white male suspect, Robert Aaron Long, has been taken into custody. And then they point out that anti-Asian hate crimes have surged since the start of the pandemic, obviously with characters like Donald Trump pushing anti-Asian rhetoric, you know, with things like calling coronavirus the China virus. And
given the fact that it originated from China and China isn't a race, then yeah, no, that seems pretty feasible. Like it seems like a pretty good idea to point out that the virus came from China because China did a lot to kind of do propaganda saying that it was from the US at a certain point even, and you can't really let that shit slide. But hey, what are you gonna do, right?
Spreading a lot of these sentiments and really just emboldening a lot of these white supremacists who have always existed in the United States, but emboldening them more recently to act on some of these things. And this has been shown out in the data. So new data has revealed over the past year the number of anti-Asian hate incidents, which can include shunning, slurs, and physical attacks, is greater than previously reported, and a disproportionate number of.
You see, the shunning and slurs part, like, not great. Like, listen, don't be mean to people based on their race. Don't be mean to people based on their race. But unless it's a physical attack specifically directed because the person's of a certain race, I'm really kind of not inclined to really give a shit, to be honest. Like, unless they're like trying to kill somebody, I really don't care what people do. You know what I mean?
Attacks have been directed at women. So there were over 3,800 anti-Asian racist incidents last year, mostly against women. So this is really just a trend that has been forming over the last year, especially during the pandemic. And conservatives and Republicans, but especially Donald Trump, who have been participating in spreading this anti-Asian rhetoric, are responsible for a lot of this and are responsible for what.
Again, Trump's rhetoric has been mostly anti-China rhetoric, mostly the Chinese government. I don't think that he ever made a single disparaging remark against like Chinese people in general, but what are you gonna do, right?
What is the inevitable culmination of what we are seeing with the shooting that happened yesterday. But of course, we have to show you the clips here of the Atlanta Police Department. But actually first, here was just a witness testimony from the actual incident itself. Said, according to a worker at Gold Spa, which is one of the places that was targeted, the gunman screamed that he would kill all the Asians. Okay.
I'm a little skeptical of any sort of source that's coming from a person who doesn't use punctuation in his tweets. A little sus. Also, the problem with eyewitness testimony, especially if it's only like one person, is that human memory is an incredibly fallible thing. For example, we take a look at maybe the Mike Brown shooting or something like that, where his friend said that, Mike Brown had said, "Hands up, don't shoot," ran away, and was fired upon as he was fleeing. Whereas other eyewitness testimony said that that guy was full of shit. It's important to note that eyewitness testimony is a factor, but it's not like super conclusive evidence, especially with one person. The records of him going in for sex addiction, on the other hand, are a little bit more concrete and paints a more consistent narrative, which in general is probably a good way to run a criminal justice system in more concrete evidence, as opposed to, at least to me, it is, as he seems to want the government and the legal system to be run, which is dystopic.
So it seems very clearly to me that this was racially motivated, but let's go ahead and hear what the Atlanta Police Department thinks of this.
Did take responsibility for the shootings. He said that early on once we began the interviews with him. He claims that these, and as the chief said, this is still early, but he does claim that it was not racially motivated. He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction, and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate. Like I said, it's still early on, but those were comments that he made.
Okay.
So again, in the warped logical consistency of a person who found that the most reasonable way to deal with the problem is to murder 8 people, this seems a little bit more internally consistent. At least from what I can gather. It seems that that this seems to be a more plausible reasoning and rationale behind why he did it. Still a piece of shit, but again, it's logically consistent with his twisted ideology. So I would be more inclined to believe that this is more likely the case, at least as a logical thinking person.
Okay, so yeah, it's still early on. I don't really want to comment on a lot, but he said, let me just tell you what the shooter claimed. Could you imagine them ever giving this sort of deference to somebody who wasn't a white shooter or a white terrorist suspect in this?
Yeah, no, I definitely can. I 100% definitely can see them taking a look at what he did in his past and then seeing if it like correlated with his testimony. But you know, like I still don't understand why he's like, the police are giving what he said was his account as the police are trying to like run defense for this guy. It's a really not logically consistent way of thinking. At least I can't figure out his logical consistency other than like, I want to push a narrative even if it doesn't make any sense. That's the only logical consistency that I can come out from his take on this subject is, I have a narrative and I'm going to push that narrative in the face of any contradicting evidence, no matter how substantial. I'm going to just bull rush that narrative forward as hard as I can. At least that one makes more sense to me.
Circumstance? No, of course they wouldn't. It's because of the fact that he's a white man that these cops get up there and they basically are engaging in victim blaming here to an extent. I mean, they're saying,
no, they're not. They're relaying what his stated motivation was. This isn't a condemnation or a condoning of his mindset. And to say that it is really, really, really disingenuous, and you should probably be embarrassed for yourself. But given how easily you kind of like spew out bullshit, I don't think that embarrassment's on the table.
well, he claims that it wasn't racially motivated. So, okay, in the initial report, when you're coming in front of the news and everybody's trying to get an accurate picture of what just unfolded, you are leading the conversation by saying, by default, we're going to pretty much accept what this guy said, that it...
He didn't say that that's what he was doing. Again, like, he later, I don't know if it's the same tweet that he's looking up the video for. Oh, so this is from Now This. Okay. The other one that we saw put in the statement that he was kind of not in, like, it's still early on, they're still investigating. But Now This is like a known propaganda outlet, so yeah. What are you gonna do, right?
Conversation by saying, by default, we're going to pretty much accept what this guy said, that it wasn't racially motivated, and just regurgitate that as if it's accurate. They would never give this type of benefit of the doubt to anybody who wasn't a white man committing this type of atrocity. Okay, so
no, I'm pretty sure they would. I'm pretty sure they have. Like, they've gotten, like, whenever they get people in alive that do these sorts of things, they generally try to understand why they did it. Like, yeah.
It's just ridiculous that you would give him that sort of defense as if you are part of his defense team. And then in addition to that, saying like, oh, well, this was actually more about like a sex addiction that this guy had, and he was just trying to remove one of the temptations.
Like, does he think that this guy is going to go not to prison for life because he said it was a sex addiction as opposed to being racially motivated? Like, what does he honestly think that, like, they're defending? Like, I'm really trying to I'm really trying. Like, guy, seriously, can I can blow him up. I can blow him up real quick. Let me be like, guy, dipshit. All right. What do you think the end outcome is going to be if they convince people that it wasn't racially motivated and that it was based off of his like sex addiction? What do you genuinely think the end goal of that would be, and what the end result of it is? Do you think it's going to be like less jail time? The guy's going away for life. He's already confessed to it. Like unironically, I think this guy. I don't want to say mean words. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to discredit this guy's ability to think as a person. However, this guy doesn't seem to have a very coherent worldview. Wow. Your words, Megazuna, not mine.
Temptations, right? It was actually just a temptation. Those massage parts, that was a temptation that he had to get rid of. So portraying the murderer as the victim in this circumstance and blaming the victims for being a temptation, right? That's the language that he's using. And the language that they're using in this circumstance matters. Again, because this is one of the first press conferences that
again, I always feel I always like when I watch over my clips, when I watch over some of my old clips, and I'm like, should I upload this? Like, this is a little vapid. I didn't really hit on these points super well. I didn't hit like this one specifically. I didn't call out this. Is this really my best work? Do I really want to put this forward? This guy uploads garbage like this, like 5 times a day, and feels 100% okay with doing it, and shills a Patreon afterwards. You know what? I need to stop having shame, because these people don't understand how that is, and I need to have their mindset if I want to grow. I need to be shameless and be like, you know what? Besides, anyway, like, this guy makes me feel like a fucking genius. Holy shit.
we're getting from these, like, what are supposed to be official sources here, not that police are ever reliable as official sources on these types of things, but this is what you lead.
Why are they not like reliable sources? Like, you're just saying that and not substantiating it. Yeah, this guy's an idiot. This guy is an idiot.
The conversation with, and this is not how you do it, okay? Especially given the data and what we've seen over the last year with anti-Asian violence that has been
you just make speculation based off of completely unrelated things and say, well, job's done, we did a good job. Like, obviously it's because of this. There's no evidence to suggest that it's because of this. I just said that it is. It's completely, I just have to say that it is. Is he the left-wing alternate reality of Mundane Matt? Nah, this guy at least is, like, somewhat decent looking, I guess. Like, hey, good on you, dude. Good on you. Because, like, with your fucking brains, you need all the fucking help that you can get with your looks, dude. Holy shit.
Occurring. So really just a pathetic way to frame this from the Atlanta Police Department. And it didn't just stop there. There was also this.
Interviewed him this morning, and they got that impression that, yes, he understood the gravity of it, and he was pretty much fed up and kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
Remorseful?
I'm not going to go to, I don't know if he was remorseful or not.
Oh, I'm not, okay, yeah. It's too far for me to go to say that he was remorseful, but it's not too far for me to go to say that, oh, it was just a bad day for him. It was just an off day.
He's saying that that's what he said. Again, establishing these things is critical to, like, court cases, and anything that he says will be used by his defense attorneys, because, like, his defense, he will have representation, even if he confessed to it. He legally has the right to an attorney, and they will probably appoint him one. Like, yeah.
It was just an off day. Yeah, because everybody goes on shooting sprees on their off days. Okay, what a fucking absurd, weaselly way to frame this. Okay, they would
It's not really absurd or Weasley. I think you're just using words now. Oh boy.
never do this. Again, it's important to point out the dichotomy here. They wouldn't even cover a black victim of a shooting in this positive of a light. What do we always see whenever a police officer and
Wasn't the media coverage of the Dylan Roof stuff like specifically hanging on the fact that like these were people that were going to church and they were like worshiping and like welcoming him in? Like, are you fucking retarded? Like, does he really think that the media hates black people? Like, really, dude? Really? Okay.
and this is the other important part of this, because this is a cop, okay? This is exactly the type of rhetoric that police use all the time when they murder minorities. They always victim blame. They always turn it around and say, oh, well, maybe this was just a bad circumstance, or, oh, we're sorry that it had to unfold this way, or it was just an off day, it was a bad day.
No, generally when there's a police-involved shooting, they try to give the justification of why the officer did it, and generally it's because they say that they feared for their life. Whether or not it's a valid reason is speculative, because, the police can be fucking assholes, but, like, they do kind of make sure that there's, like, a justification for it.
This is the type of shit that they do to flake responsibility, to push it off as if it's like, oh, just because it's a white man in this circumstance, maybe he shouldn't be held fully responsible, or it was an addiction.
When did they say that? They didn't say that at all during any of the clips that you showed. You're just making shit up now. Like, stop making shit up.
Or, these were temptations, or it was just a bad day. This is ridiculous, okay? And so the point of me showing you these is to say, this would never have been covered in this same way by the police departments if this had not been a white man. And, we have to seriously have a deeper conversation, obviously, as to anti-Asian rhetoric and anti-Asian violence that has been going on in this country, specifically over the last year with the pandemic. This is something we need to grapple with, because this shit is fucking unacceptable.
I mean, I've already just made shit up, and we need to have a conversation, a deep-rooted conversation about the shit that I'm just sort of just making up on the fly. Okay, dude. All right.
And the way that they're talking about this is also unacceptable. So
I actually kind of feel bad that I gave this douchebag money now by watching his video all the way through. I feel disgusted. I need a shower after this.
I'm going to go ahead and drop some resources down below if you want to read more into this topic, and look for some of these organizations that are actually tackling anti-Asian violence and discrimination right now. So if you want more information on that, go ahead and check the description below.
Awful fucking video. Shameful. Like, unironically, I would say Cyberdemon at least had, like, a slightly better take. Cyberdemon made up less shit. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Get it? Cause I'm a dog. Did you guys get it? I'm very pleased about that. It came off of just the tip of my tongue. That was